So we have one question that we're focused on in this holiday miracle adventure, and that is, tell me about a time when the embodiment of love created a miracle in your life.
Probably the best story for this was the time where I actually met my husband and how we fell in love.
So that was Monday, and we still didn't know for sure, but things were looking really amazingly good, like miracle. This was like
the survival of the brain injury was juxtaposed with this incredibly enlightened experience that I had, this opening. And I quickly forgot about it because of what I was struggling with in terms of memory loss and speed loss, facial blindness, and these things I still struggle with. However, I do know beyond, I think as well as I know my name, that there is a reality that exists that we all can tap into, and you don't have to fall off a bike and you don't have to hit your head, and I don't suggest that. You can all tap into this experience of an interconnected, woven fabric between all beings.
Which I love about what you're doing is making people aware of love, and not just in the romantic sense of love, but in the way of just being open to any energy, being open to ideas, open to thoughts, being open to even to yourself. Because I think that's really one of the biggest keys there, is being open to yourself.
You can't say heaven on earth. I mean, people will think you're proselytizing or you're gone off the deep end, or, it's impossible. We can't do that. And then I began to think, well, why not? I can talk to you about hell on earth, can't I? That's a permissible conversation, right? And we know a lot about that. Well, why can't we talk about the kind of life and work and nation and world we want? And so I thought, okay, heaven on earth. And so I began an inquiry, and I began to talk to people and say, well, what's heaven on earth for you? What's heaven on earth for you? I wasn't coming into it with a specific answer. It really was, I wanted to find out. So I kept asking that over and over and over. What's heaven on earth for you? What's heaven on earth for you? What's heaven on earth for you? And then that distilled down to three very seminal questions, which get at what heaven on earth is for people. And we didn't discuss this before this interview, but would you like to play along with me and answer the questions?
I love the question, and when I saw it, I immediately thought back to 2012. And what happened then is I made a decision to just be the happiest, most generous person I had ever been.
And I remember vividly the sensation of just being surrounded by light and held by light, and there being nothing but the presence of love. There was no fear.
So I was pretending that I didn't know what to do, but deep down inside, I actually really knew, but there was so much fear wrapped in it. I didn't know how to dissolve the fear so that I could let my authentic self come through. So I asked myself, what was I pretending not to know? And what I was pretending was that I didn't know that there was another way in the sales process. I was pretending that no one would listen to me, or no one would buy into what I'm selling because it was different from everyone else. And the miracle occurred when I finally realized that's why it would sell. That's why I could be authentic, because I was releasing the gift that I had inside of me once the fear was dissolved.
I was exhausted. And as life's perfection would have it, one day came when I was extraordinarily exhausted, where two amazing teachers of mine came to me within a couple of days and said, it's time to let go. This is the scariest thing I've ever done. And I said to them both, I'm so afraid that if I let go, she will die. And I thought they would say to me, Linda, no, don't worry, she won't die. But they didn't. They said, maybe she will.
So I knew that I had a choice. I could either blame her and say, she's a lousy nurse, she caused me to pass out, blah, 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 blah. Or I could take responsibility and say, she was a witness for fear that was reflecting the fear that was already in my mind. She just agreed. She agreed to join me in that fear, which is really what happened. So rather than blame her, I chose to take responsibility and say, okay, I called forth this witness for fear because of my own state of fear. I really want to call forth a witness for love. I'm really willing to embody love.
Yet I could see, I could see at the time that she indeed was an angel. And I was unfamiliar with that concept, really, up until that point.
I don't know. All I can say is that forgiveness rocks, and I'm so grateful. So thank you for listening to my story today.